Hey there, this is Paul 1PA, and welcome to all the fellow RC enthusiasts out there. Here I have my new Parkzone Radian, which is a 2-meter electric powered sailplane. Now in regards to the flight attributes of this model, there's just so many positive reviews that I just had to own one for myself. And also the quality of the kit is quite good. However, I ran into a slight problem with the tail assembly during the initial setup here. So I thought I'd shoot a quick video on how I'm going to remedy this problem. And hopefully this will help other Radian owners as well. Okay, let me begin by addressing the specific problem I had during the Radian assembly. You can see here at the tail, there are a pair of aluminum connectors, one for the rudder, one for the elevator, and these are used to secure the push rods to the control horns. Well, at least in my kit, these connectors were really subpar quality. The screw heads were knurled, so I could only use my fingers to apply torque. And I just couldn't get enough clamping force on the push rod for a nice secure fit. I then took my Dremel tool and carefully machined in a small slot so I could use a screwdriver. And as soon as I applied a slight bit of force on the rudder side here, it just broke into two pieces. So really weak aluminum. So the first thing I want to do is get the factory hardware out of there. Before you do that, first make note of which hole is being used in the control horn so you can get it back in the same position. Here's a rundown of the parts and tools you'll need. First, go to your local hobby store and buy a product made by Dubro. It's the Mini Easy connectors, catalog number 845. They come 2 per pack, so perfect for the Radian. You also need a small drill bit. 1/16 of an inch is perfect. If you have a metric set, 1.5 millimeter will also work. Also some medium strength thread locker like this Loctite 242, and lastly a straight slot micro screwdriver. Okay, I'm going to show the installation on the elevator side here. Now I already applied the Loctite thread locker to both the male and female threads on the Dubro connector, and I went ahead and slid the larger portion of the connector onto the push rod. Now the stud that projects out on this connector here is just a slightly larger diameter than the holes that came in the control horn. So take your 1/16 inch drill bit and run that through the hole that you're going to use. In my case, it came with the outermost hole on the elevator, and you don't even need to hook it up to a drill. Just twist with your fingers and it'll take a few shavings of plastic out of there and be all set. And then go ahead and insert that stud into the appropriate hole. To finish up the assembly of the Dubro connector on the elevator, you need to install the last 2 components. Now I've already done that here, but the first item is to go ahead and thread in this metal screw, and that will ultimately lock the push rod in place. And the second component you need to install is this black plastic button that press fits on the control horn side. Now a few tips for you here. On my plane, I needed to run my push rod inside the control horn so it had the minimum bend angle and the least stress on it. And unfortunately that aims the screw head in towards the rudder. But it's not too bad to tighten, since you can come up through this hole in the rudder and get your micro screwdriver in there and go ahead and tighten that down. And speaking of tightening that screw, leave it loose for now and go ahead and power up your plane and the radio. And you want to verify the servos are centered, your trim tabs are neutral. Also, you want to physically verify that this hinge portion of the elevator is flush with the front portion of the horizontal stabilizer here. And then you're all set to go ahead and tighten that screw. Now the installation on the rudder side is very similar, and I'll show you a few static pictures here to see how I oriented that connector. To wrap things up, I now have both screws cinched down tightly. And I'm just going to go ahead and verify the movement of the elevator here. Looks good. And also check out the rudder. Looks like our symmetrical movement on both sides. Everything looks nicely centered. And I'll do the final trimming on the maiden flight, of course. So anyway, I hope this video proved beneficial for the Radian owners out there. You know, it's such a small component, but it's so vital. If that connector were to slip or fail in flight and you got your plane up there 1,000 feet, you can probably kiss it goodbye. You know, you're just not going to have proper control. So highly recommend this upgrade, and good flying to you.